Welcome to Web Handling. My name is Dave Roisum. I am very excited to continue our tour of web handling tools with another most neglected instrument, an infrared camera. While our common cameras see visible light in the 450 to 750 nanometer range, infrared cameras detect wavelengths that are longer than 800 nanometers. There are several other important differences between these cameras and the ones we are more accustomed to. First, they are much rarer. Second, they are much lower resolution, sometimes only 640 by 480 pixels. Finally, they have a much slower ISO, meaning that shutter speeds are longer and thus have the tendency to blur subjects. Moving webs would appear as a streak. A recent exception is a much higher frame rate camera that is only accessible by a few service and research facilities. In my travels, I almost always carry not one, but two inexpensive IR cameras. However, these are hobby cameras. They are made by changing an internal or external filter on an otherwise common point-and-shoot or DSLR camera because most of the sensors in these cameras can detect near IR. However, hobby cameras are not suitable for industrial work in part because they only detect near IR, and that range is not well suited for web machine temperatures. Instead, you should be using an instrument-grade camera such as made by FLIR or other company. At the time of this production, FLIR had a cheap model that's strapped onto the back of an iPhone 5. I have studied this just enough to conclude that you should probably go one step up and get something a little more professional, such as the model shown here that is both suitable and affordable. Many plants, especially paper mills, may have even better cameras owned by a maintenance or engineering or research department. Shown here is paper going over a hot dryer can. Here the correlation is that thick areas don't dry as well and may be cooler because of the extra moisture. With film and other materials, the correlations will be slightly different. Even so, the principle of using IR to infer temperature variability or other profiles issues is the core of the troubleshooting technique. Often when I am called into a plant that has some web handling problem, the client suspects tension, nip, or some other cause. Yet, as we learned in Web 101, temperature is the most powerful and most dangerous of the TNT knobs. Thus, I frequently look upstream to the source of the so-called web handling problems. The root cause is often uneven profile coming from manufacturing. While we can sometimes look at the machinery itself, shiny metal confuses an IR camera. Instead, we often audit the web temperature down through different locations in the machine, as well as on the master roll itself. Other non-web applications for IR abound and are too numerous to list here. Those, plus the ability to make very interesting selfies, make the IR camera a must-have tool for your toolbox. Thank you so very much for watching this module and my Plant Practical video clips. Stay tuned for more must-have web handling tools.